Afternoon. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Nicola?
I'm really good. I'm really good. So, folks, we are here for next instalment of interview with the WIFM committee to celebrate International Women's Day. This year is Choose to Challenge. This is our sign. So we're talking to the WIFM committee about what they feel that they choose to challenge in their career, what career challenges they've come across. So I'm talking to Kellie Lord Thomas. She's been with us for about a year on the committee now, haven't you, Kellie?
Yep.
And Kellie works for Amnesty International. So, Kellie, would you tell us a little bit brief about your role and what you do for Amnesty?
Yeah, my job title is the UK Workplace Manager, and essentially I just look after the head office in London. We have about 350 staff working there. I'd say we could probably fit in about 500 people. We've got quite a big building. But I head up the team, oversee the front of the house, look after all the contracts, do the tender negotiation, manage the M&E, do all the kind of conflict resolution that may crop up, or escalation issues within contracts or issues with staff. I suppose for the past year, last year, well, really my focus was leading on the return to the office, creating a COVID secure space. We're currently closed. We haven't reopened this year to staff. So I'm currently working from my kitchen table with my husband sat opposite me, so not ideal. And we're hoping to reopen again in mid-April, all being well.
Excellent, good stuff. So could you tell me, obviously, working for a charity sometimes it has its own unique quirks and behaviours and different types of culture. Can you tell me what some of the challenges are that you've faced around people returning to work?
It's been a really mixed bag. Last year, we saw over half of the staff return at some point. Some just came because they wanted to see the space. Some came to pick stuff up. Some came because they'd missed the photocopier and were desperate to copy stuff. We certainly had a core group of people who came back, but there is a silent majority who are dragging their heels. They really want to kind of force the conversation for us to review our future ways of working. And whilst it is being discussed, it isn't the time. Amnesty don't feel it's the time now to make these bold decisions whilst we're in this pandemic. I think ultimately they would like us back. The biggest challenge for me last year was the social distancing. It worked great at the beginning and everyone followed it, but once you're in that space every day with the same people, the same faces, very, very easy to forget. So we definitely turned into the fun police. And, you can make a joke about it. I walked around at some points with measuring tapes. I'm like, come on, this is what 2 meters looks like. But other times it was a really uncomfortable situation. So I'm not relishing that when we go back. It's tough, isn't it? No one does it deliberately. They all know. They're all trying to be careful, but it's hard. We're not designed to be apart like this.
Yeah, it's human nature for people to want connection, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's where we've really seen the value of being on the committee, is that we've become our own. And so we are like a little family, aren't we? So that when things have been challenging at work, we support each other, that confidential ear that you can talk to say, actually, it's really tough right now. It's okay not to be okay. You're carrying the shoulders, the whole world of the workplace on your shoulders and the responsibility. And sometimes it's okay to say, but you know what? We just don't know. I need to talk to other people about it, or I need someone else to hear my frustration so that I know that I'm not going mad. And that's where the committee's really come into its own, because we've all just supported each other through that, haven't we? So.
Well, for me, the committee's been a real lifeline in the last year, because obviously there's been a lack of networking opportunities. So having the ability for us to meet and chat and just to hear what everyone else is up to, it's been brilliant for me. I've loved it. And I think without it, it would have been quite a lonely year. You can attend webinars and that's great, but actually you're just listening. But to be able to interact together has been, it's been a real lifeline, I think, for me.
Yeah, the drinks night was good, wasn't it?
Drinks night is always good.
You can stop our WIFM events, but we will still find wine. Runs through our veins. So, excellent. So, thinking about your career now, Kellie, you've been in FM for quite a while now. What would you say has been your biggest challenge that you've come across in your career? And how did you overcome that?
I have experienced quite a level of sexism
Yeah.
throughout my time, especially when I'm dealing with anything to do with hard services.
Yeah.
I've been in meetings where I will be the decision maker, but I've been completely overlooked, and they've been talking to my peers because they're male.
Yeah. The
And, you know,
talking to your admin.
yeah, completely overlooking me, and it always amuses me. It never really intimidates me, but it just always tickles me.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wait for that kind of almost that killer moment where I can pull it back and kind of say, actually, it's me who'll be making the decision. And I kind of enjoy seeing them squirm.
Always like,
Yeah, oh God, yeah, I've been talking to the wrong person for the last 30 minutes. Yeah, I suppose that has been the hardest thing, really, I think.
Yeah.
And I can't see it ever really changing. It's definitely less. And I think as a result of what I've experienced, I've definitely got more confident and more knowledgeable as well. So I think that kind of all builds to it.
I think I would say that you're really resilient as well. And that,
I haven't felt it last year. I felt I was gonna snap in two last year.
yeah, but you still like you've pulled on your support network when you needed to, and although you may have felt like that outwardly to the rest of the team and the people that you provide a service to, it was business as usual.
Yeah.
And that's where the value of having that trusted circle of your own tribe that you can talk to in confidence and say, actually, right now I'm having a bit of a wobble.
Yeah.
That's where it comes into its own, isn't it?
It was definitely a lonely experience last year because, you know, there wasn't senior management back. And it felt, you know, there were times in the summer when that rule of 6 came out and the eat out to help out, staff were just going out at lunchtime, evenings. You know, you can't blame them, but they were like, do you want to come with me? It's like, no, because you're not socially distancing and I'm going to have to tell you to socially distance when we get back to the office. I just thought I can't be that person who used to be social. Yeah, and that was a real challenge for me. I know, I love going to the pub after work with people, so that was really hard for me, and I wrote about it. I posted something about it on LinkedIn, and a couple of members of staff said, I never knew that you felt like that. And I was like, yeah, it was difficult because you forget that you're going through the pandemic yourself and you're trained in health and safety. But this pandemic it's different because, you know, I was going to work, and whilst I felt very safe, I was also really didn't want to catch COVID myself. You know, so you're trying to protect yourself and making sure everything's running smoothly. It was a different level of stress, which I'm sure everybody who kind of was in my predicament would have felt the same.
Yeah, it's a bit. I think it's got a bit of stress and anxiety mixed in together.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
So, what would if you could, if you had a blank canvas and you could paint a picture of the future, one thing that you would really like to see? What's one thing that's personal to you for around working in the industry that you'd like to see change?
There's a couple of things really, but for me, I would really like to see the living wage and the London living wage adopted by all contractors and all service providers.
Do you think that's an issue of having clients that are willing to pay for because obviously for the contractors to be able to do it, the clients have got to be prepared.
Oh, absolutely. The clients really need to be. I'm always shocked when I speak to our cleaning company or others who kind of tell me who their clients are and they're not paying the London living wage. And I just think, come on, especially now, the cleaners are working so hard, and our security guards, they're the ones who've kept the buildings open. You know, the cleaners going back are going to be so important. Our cleaner, our daytime cleaner, she does not stop all day. She's cleaning all the touch points. She's been relentless and she's been amazing. And I'm proud that we are signed up to the London living wage. But I just think everybody needs to really start paying for these valid and important services.
Yeah, I think that's the thing as well, because obviously you've really been sat at the heart of what's going on in the industry, so you're really up to date with everything. It's something that's you're quite passionate about. But when you've got somebody managing client side FM that's perhaps not so immersed in the industry and has come up through a slightly different route, or they fell into FM but don't actually realise they're in FM, or have not immersed themselves in like the IWFM stuff and things like that, I think it must be really hard with places like that. They don't understand the benefits. They just see it as a cost, don't they? Whereas there's so many studies that go into the fact that it actually improves your retention, it reduces your sickness days.
Oh, absolutely.
As well. So,
I mean, the other thing I'm really passionate about is, which I know is being talked about quite a lot at the moment with IWFM, but is social value. You know, and I'm always actively seeking to work with companies who share Amnesty's values, and this was kind of drilled into me from a previous role when I worked at Business in the Community, where all of their focus was corporate responsibility, and that's never left me. And to me, I love it when I find an organisation who has similar values, invests in their people, does work within their communities. You know, it's just a win-win situation. You've got a happy workforce, and people buy into that.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that we've done a lot this year at Hexagon. So at Christmas, there's so many families that have been struggling. So we work with I'm a volunteer for a charity called Unite for Homeless. And each week on a Sunday, by Digworth Coach Station, we go and do hot meals and stuff like that, and like signposting for the homeless. But obviously, with the restrictions on people meeting, that's all got put to one side because they're all in hotels in Birmingham at the moment, homeless. And we're not allowed to do anything like that because of the group's meeting. So we switched our focus to our sister charity, Community Relief Foundation. And we've been doing food boxes that we're working with different schools to find families that are like really struggling and quite destitute at the moment. And we've been doing food boxes for those. So as part of our Christmas campaign, we did 50 boxes that we donated from Hexagon. And then
that's awesome.
To the families, and it's been really nice to do that. But we do stuff all the year round rather than just like once a year thing. And we're just dying to be able to get in close proximity to people so we can start doing stuff again. And that's been really good. We did last year. We did care packages for the other networking thing that I do. I've got my own network in Midlands, FM Connect. And we put something together really quickly just before Christmas because we hadn't met for a couple of months. And we did loads of care packages with like sanitary products, snacks, and stuff like that to give out to the homeless. And we did homeless outreach on Christmas Eve. And I had a bloody whale of a time.
That's great.
Brilliant. And I think sometimes they just want you to just sit down with them and just talk to them as human beings and see them.
Yeah.
And see them as humans rather than just shuffling past and looking the other way. And we were having a scream, and we was giving them all hot drinks and meals and stuff like that. And Anna had made this hot chocolate, you know, in the pump things that you do the dispenser to. And this hot chocolate was really chalky apparently. And this one chap was trying to drink it, and I was like, "Are you all right, mate?" And he was like, "I don't mean to be rude, miss, but this hot chocolate's really bad." I was like, "Anna, come here." I said, "What are you doing, killing this chap off with your chalky hot chocolate?" And he was laughing his head off, and he was just saying, "Do you know what, love? It said it's really nice for someone to just come and sit down here for 10 minutes, chat to us and stuff like that." He said, and just treat us like normal human beings and that. And I think we forget that, don't we?
Yeah. I do think if organisations buy into social value, it's it's a way to really positively engage with staff. Because staff care, especially the younger generation, they care about their environment. And if you can have a story like, I don't know, you're using social enterprises who produce soap that's made, you know, locally in Hackney by people with visual impairment, that's awesome. Yeah. You know, that's great. That's the type of thing I would love to see. I'd love to walk into a building and to have stories, personal stories behind all the things that are in there. It just sometimes costs a little bit more, but I still think it's worth it.
Yeah, we had when we did, I think it was just before you joined us actually, we did an event with NG at the Elizabeth Garrett School, I think it is. And one of the contractors that they work with there actually does stuff with food waste. So it's all perfectly edible, but it might have like been put to one side for sell-by dates and that, and they did all the canopies and everything.
Brilliant.
And they were brilliant. Two girls, really, really passionate, and they did like all the. I can't remember. Were you with us then when we did that?
No.
It was just before you joined, and then it makes me realise how long I've been doing this for. Then it's like, how many years? But they were great, and you're pretty good at working with different businesses with social value and stuff like that. So they usually introduce us to some good companies. So this might be an opportunity for different businesses that have got social enterprises, etc., to perhaps reach out to you guys at Amnesty and do a bit of a roadshow when people can come in then and come and show you their wares, so to speak.
Yeah, no, that would be great. I mean, I would. There are so many social enterprises I'd love to get involved with, but the problem with working in charities is that actually cost matters, so you can never really quite go as far as you'd love to.
Yeah.
But I would love Amnesty's offices to be, just really walk the talk. To really demonstrate our values, not just but through the people, but by the environment. And you straight away from the space, you can say, okay, this is what these guys stand for, and not just because it's written up on a wall in a poster or something like that.
Absolutely, that would be great. Perhaps that's something we need to look at for an event next year when we can get back to normal and see if we could do something around social value.
I know, I'm so looking forward to getting back to normal, but at the moment, my wish list to getting back to normal, I'm quite small. I just want to go to a pub, a beer garden. I'm looking forward to the rule of 6 again. Like I've got no grand plans to go on holiday. Yeah. Just 6 people will do me. I'm fine.
That's it, yeah. Excellent. Well, I really appreciate you taking time to sit and discuss with us what your challenges have been, what your hopes are for the future, etc. Thank you so much for sharing time. Guys, you can connect with Kellie on LinkedIn. I'll put a link in the messages and that, and she'll be great. She'd love to hear from you. If you've got any questions for Kellie at all, please also put those on the thread and we'll make sure that they get to them. But for now, thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Vicky. You too.
I should look forward to catching up with you on Monday for International Women's Day.
Fab. Okay, take care, mate. Bye.
Isn't it? See you later.
Bye.